Hey, thanks for tuning in, everyone, for another episode of Talking Mortal. I'm brought to you guys the myth, the legend, RunKarni on today's guest of honor. How you doing today?
Ah, good brother. Good brother. I just got echo from the this. I just put the volume down.
All right, perfect, perfect. Well, I am super excited to have you here today, sir.
Yeah.
Um, you, sir, are an icon of truth and an icon of, not just appreciation, but motivation. You, sir, beat obesity and now are going to beat down Odin Seed. How do you feel about that?
I don't know about that, bro. I feel like I talk a lot of shit sometimes, but I mostly, that what you mentioned about my weight loss fight is probably the biggest fight of my life.
Hmm.
Literally, was the fight for my life. So I'm happy that I have defeat that, and I'm continue to fighting, and the rest is easy. The rest will be easy. Odyssey, Karimata, whoever wanna fight me after defeating obesity, which was probably my biggest fight, and I struggled for many years. Everything else will be easy. So basically, what I think about that, and look, and at the end of the day, like I like playing outnumber. I like playing in a disadvantage. I think that's more fun to play the game like that. And I just it's part of the way I play any game, not just Mortal. Because if you look at my streams in Rust, I play solo Rust. If you look at Albion, I was fighting the biggest Asian Zergs when I was on EVE Online. I also used to do a small scale PvP. So I'm always enjoy more being the underdog and play from a small groups. I don't like be part of big circs or be part of big organizations basically.
Yeah, yeah, no. And I really respect the hell of what you do. Um, you make people remember why we play the game and why we enjoy the game. I recognize that a lot in the conversation you were having on your most recent stream. Um, and you're very entertaining. You're a very good
Thank you,
entertainer.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Um, and
Like I said, I'm not saying that my way to play is the way everyone should be playing. It's the way it's most fun for me. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because like for example, like if you always play with a position where you're gonna have backup, I feel like it's too easy. You know what I mean? Like for example, when I was fighting at Tefra Grade against Karnimata, like they will never stop coming. They will just bring wave after wave after wave, and they just keep coming, calling more allies, sending more pings, till they basically have more numbers than you, and they beat you that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just don't think that that's the a fun way to play the game, knowing that you're always gonna have people backing you up, and you will always have the numbers superiority over your enemies. I don't think that's fun. But a lot of groups, I feel like in Mortal and in other games, because it happened in Albion as well. Like I feel like they want total control of areas, so they can basically have no competition. It's like monopolized aspects, like it happened on our economy as well. When companies wanna get ready of competition, so they
Hmm.
can sort of farm maximize profit. It's the same thing in online games. Powerful people, which I call them shit lords. Like Kudara, like Antius, like Azog, like they very powerful people. They have access to big wallets, gold, lot of gold. They wanna exercise that power. Even like smaller guilds, like everyone on this game wanna exercise their power over others. That's
Hmm.
that power in games is something very weird because um like for example, I just got declared siege by another guild than is not one of the big guilds. So I was a bit unexpected, but like it looks to me that the guy that declared war, what he wanna show is his power over me, a solo player. Which is fair enough. Like at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like that's what happened on games like Rust, games like Albion. Like if people wanna get rid of you, they can see you and they can destroy your hideout, or they can come and 10 plus deep with 4 or 6 rocket launches and raid you in Rust as well. Like
Right,
it is
right,
what it is. So, for example, my defense mechanism against this type of this type of ways to wave war is to basically uh, split loot. For example, when I play Rust, I always split loot. I build multiple bases and try to minimize losses. But if you gonna get siege, you're gonna get siege. And in any game, like
right,
it's not much you can do. The only thing you can do is try to make the raids in Rust or in Albion as sort of grindy as possible to sort of try to
right,
win a long war of attrition. But
right.
that's basically the only thing you can do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like in Rust, you want to heavy armor all the walls when they're so that they spend.
Yeah, you wanna have your
Yeah,
lockers ready. You wanna have
yeah,
your HB crafted. You wanna have like to do a little bit of preparation, but at the same time, like when you play Rust as a solo or when you play Immortal as a solo, to be honest, like it's very little you can do against big groups other than do guerrilla warfare and try to minimize losses. You know what I mean? When
so
you get siege.
something I've always been curious: how do you stay so motivated to do what you do? I find it so
Well,
impressive.
I think it's just a sort of defend mechanism because when everything is against you, the only thing that you have left is betting on yourself. If you can't do even that, then the war is lost. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It is what you have to do. Like there's no other way. If you don't have conviction and determination on what you're doing, you lost the war already. You know what I mean? And
right,
that's something that is internal, and no one can take that away from you. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, no, 100%. I no, I can respect the fuck out of that. That's awesome, man. So right now, what is your objective? I know you're going for the supply towers, um, and you're kind of doing the best you can in the situation you are. But what's your goal? What can you tell the people?
Oh, the supply towers is I say it like before on the stream, but the war I'm waging against on city is not it's not about the supply tower. You can counter like measure the war according to the supply tower, like who have more supply towers, how many supply towers they have, because the supply towers are just a tool on a war that I'm trying to weigh on them. And the type of war I'm weighing on them is a war of attrition, it's a war of annoyance, like a sort of harassment, sort of make the sort of existence annoying by just having constant messages on your chat then you tower you supply towers under attack and sort of get
Mm-hmm.
them to send resources there, and that's basically what it is. But the beauty about that battle is that it's very hard for me to lose, because if they defend, they basically fall into my trap. They will hold the tower, but they will allocate resources and waste time. But if they don't defend, I get the towers, and the towers translate to supplies, and then that supply can either be used for buying siege weapons, which are valuable. So it's sort of like you win either way.
Right, right, 100%. So I remember though. So before you waged this war on Odinseed, uh, wasn't there a situation where Odinseed had actually agreed to fight Karni and Mata alongside you?
Um, that happened multiple times, but never materialized. I feel like I feel like I personally feel like the reason why that never materialized was because um, it is hard for guilds that are like ODC to be deployed in GK. Like the GK is very it's very difficult. It's not like Favernum. I feel like the way, for example, Carnimata does wave war is very it take a heavy toll on your player base, because Carnimata doesn't, it's sort of it's it's a rat guild, you know what I mean? So they're not gonna fight conventional warfare like what most of the guilds will be able would be expecting from a guild to wave, you know. So a little bit of what I'm doing to Odin Seed is how Carnimata would do a war on them if they come to GK. You know, they will
Yeah.
like try to harass them, try to avoid giving good fights, try to basically make them quit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way Carnimata play. And I know that because I experienced that firsthand. I mean, that's why I create RunKarni, because RunKarni was ranking was the tool that I used to sort of try to fight back, because my main character was called Arquero, and it was Ogmir
Mm-hmm.
123 STR warrior, which was very slow. And what what Kanimata was doing was like they will go around on mounted troops and they will dismount you, and then because my other character was so slow, I could no I could just die. That was my, but then when I create RunKarni, which was a very fast Bella, then you open the possibility to basically fight back, and basically after getting dismounted to run into the mountains and shoot arrows at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing your videos. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but that's basically what it was. It was just me trying to fight back against Kanimata while my whole team quit, because Talus Confederation quit the area. Then ES, my guild left. Everyone left basically. No one wanted to deal with the way Kanimata wave war, and I give them pros for that because I understand what they do because I do it myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like but then now with back then when this was going on, there wasn't siege mechanics, you know. So with the siege mechanics are, I'm just trying to figure it out, you know, like what can I do to try to survive in the game, you know. And the supply tower sort of is something, an idea that I came out because of the changes they did where they provide supplies. So I was like, okay, so now they provide 144 supplies per tower over a 24-hour period. So yeah, maybe here's something I can work with. You know,
Right.
maybe I don't have enough resources to siege the houses or the keeps, but maybe I can hurt them on this way, and that's just basically me trying to improvise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
No, that's huge. That's huge. So, do you think though, just from your own personal perspective, do you think the Zergs will ever fight each other?
I don't think big Zergs want to fight each other in general. I feel like big stars are currently very comfortable with the sphere of influence. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Onisid is very comfortable controlling the Mino dungeon. I feel like Kodo is very comfortable controlling Meduli, and obviously Garnimat is very comfortable controlling GK. And basically that's it. They don't want to step on each other toes because it's not good for the business. You know, they like being comfortable. I hear. Look, this was some intel someone got me,
Right.
but I have no evidence of this, and I don't believe it's true. But someone told me that Odin had the intention to maybe the next big war to do it against Carnimada, but I have no evidence of that, and all what they show me is like they basically gonna keep doing more of the same, which is like control the area and try to avoid fighting with Kanimada because that will be sort of harmful for the player base. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I can't blame them because the player base is the most important resource of this game. It's not the goal you have. It's not the how much end-game materials you have on your warehouses. It's your players. If your players stop playing the game, it's game over. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. So yeah, no, I get that 100%. And I actually, there has been sieges against allies of Odin Seed by Carnimata Red Alliance. So I don't know if you knew, but there was a video from Wolfsight of an Dreadlords or Undead Lords stronghold getting sieged down in Talus Mountains. Did you hear about that?
No, no idea.
Yeah. It was a tier three. They recorded the whole fight, and then there was a couple skirmishes of Odin Seed and the Rat Alliance, and Odin Seed just getting rolled, absolutely rolled. Um, so no, I think that intel you got, I think it does bear some possibility. I think that's definitely possible. That's going to happen just regarding the recent events that has happened. I would like to see a war between those two groups because I think that Odin Seed's gone unchecked for too long. I think it's kind of gone to their head a bit with the way they've been acting. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused because I feel like they grow too big. So I don't know if they really can afford to overextend like this. At least with the supply towers, I noticed that they slowly sort of giving up a little bit on the fight for supply towers. So I feel like they will eventually go back to normal and try to hold 4 supply towers instead of the 10 plus they are aiming to control. And when it comes to the keeps, I'm not familiar how keep system work, but
Mm-hmm.
3 keeps sounds to me that is quite a lot of keeps, for any guild, I don't
Yeah.
think they need 3 keep. Maybe they will realize they are overextending, and I feel like yeah, that I definitely feel like they overextending when it comes to the numbers of supply towers they trying to keep, and with the keeps I definitely feel like they overextended. Now I noticed a lot of their members also have a lot to say, when I don't feel like they have fought guilds than could stand against them anyway. So I don't think they have much to say till they prove against Kodo or against one of the big Sir guilds.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And then,
So
how do you feel about all the accusations against Oseed? Because after I brought up some evidence that I brought up, Tatsuya was also talking about it on his recent. I know you've kind of touched up on it a little bit. Um, what have you heard?
now, look, the RMTC happens in any game at the high levels of the Zergs. It happens because they there's a lot of resources. Like Okauto control a lot of resources. The leadership of ODC control resources, and leadership of Kanimata of any organization. When you go, like even me, bro, when I was controlling Tefra, I was making good amount of gold,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I did control it for a long period of time, and I was mining it, and I was like getting people to sell it to me cheap, and then I used to resell it, so I didn't even need to mine it, and I
Right.
was making gold. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was just there griefing, but there was also profit to be made. So uh, even I could have do it. Like it's not that I done it, but I could have, because I have access to a lot of gold and to a lot of resources.
Right.
So it's gonna happen. Like if it's not from ASOG, it's gonna be from someone in ODC, because these organizations are too big. Or if it's not from Antius, it's gonna be from someone in Carnimata trying to make a profit, or someone in Kodo. I'm
Right.
not saying Kutara, Antius, and ASOGs are selling gold, but it's just bound to happen. It happens in any game. Like they maybe don't even know that it happens. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I believe some of these people know this happen, and they'll benefit from it as well. That's why they don't wanna break the piggy bank.
So,
And shutting down content from the rest of the game increase profit.
oh yeah, 100%. Controlling those POIs definitely make it super profitable. And then what are you gonna do with those excess profits? Turn in the real money, right? I think that's where their heads are at, and I think that's also why they're so comfortable because they have a money printer for in-game and out-of-game gold. You know what I'm saying? So no, I totally agree with you 100% on that. But the real question is, why are they going to keep denying it? It's from more evidence that I've received recently. I actually got links. I can't share them because I'll probably get copyright strike. But I'll send it to you. I got links showing the inventory of a specific seller um, and selling these on RMT websites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's a crazy inventory. And you got to think about it now. Let's talk about it logically. And we're just going to think about this with a very clear mind. You see a inventory of these scrolls, right? Just full of them, right? Who controls the dungeon, Minnow Dungeon? Well,
Yeah, well,
they,
yeah, exactly, brother. I mean, I mean, if there's stacks of Corona there, you can
right,
probably get an idea that it doesn't come from Meduli. You know what I mean?
right, exactly. Yeah, like it
It
doesn't
is what
take
it
a
is. What it
smart
is.
person to figure out.
Yeah.
And like, I've run Minnow Dungeon, and every most like 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10. Actually, no, definitely 10 times out of 10. Odin Seed will always be there waiting or in the dungeon to counter us as we try and get out, right? Every single time I've gone in the window, I've always fought Odin Seed. They control the dungeon and they know when you're there, right? So I don't know. That's just
Well,
it doesn't take a smart person to figure it out. That's all I
no,
can say.
of course, no. But at the same time, I know and this is why I always been supportive of making a wipe, because earlier game, there was a lot of even now they probably still are hackers going around under the map, looting boxes in the Risa dungeon, or doing like, or they were killing the Minotaur boss. Earlier game, there was I don't know if you remember, but there was a lot of the armor book,
Right,
the Draconian armor book going for very cheap. I think my friend bought it for like 500 gold early game. And a lot of these bosses were getting killed by hackers.
right.
And they did kill a lot of bosses, and they stock up on a lot of resources. Like for example, there was a big exploit with the Nitre Queen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where early game you were able to go into the Nitre Queen caves solo or with maybe another friend and jump on a rock and then shoot kill the Nitre Queen on top of the rock with arrows. Okay, so a lot of people stock up from that exploit early game with stacks of dense scorbit, you know, like mass or iron seal. Like they
Right,
still have today shit than they explode early game. You know what I mean? And
right.
just like that, there was multiple exploits than people did early game that really broke the game. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt on that, because I do feel like there's a lot of resources than were generating when the game was in early stages, and that's why I was thinking that there should have been a wipe after
Oh yeah,
all these critical issues got solved.
there's 100% should have been a wipe on this game. 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. Because I mean, there's so much exploited shit on this game now that it just blows my mind that why we haven't we. Because we know for a fact certain guilds, will not name them, have duplicated inventory.
Oh
Well,
yeah, well,
yeah.
another thing, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just literally found out today the reason why we can't trade on horses anymore is because there was literally a dupe exploit somehow involved with being mounted and trading on a horse. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, it's crazy,
Yeah,
brother. Yeah.
it's
Oh,
absolutely
there,
insane.
there was so many things that were broken early game, bro. I remember also there was a lot of people exploiting the trolls early game. I don't know if you were playing early game, but people used to get them stuck on a rock and then
Hmm.
just kill them like that. And there's multiple videos of people, and I know a lot of people that did it early game as well.
Right,
Glitch the draw, glitch the Nitro Queen, hackers going under the map, looting the Risa dungeons, exploits hackers at the killing the Minotaur dungeon early game, Minotaur, and killing the Sator, and yeah, that definitely happens. And now there obviously new resources being generating by Odyssey by controlling that. So I don't know, but I give them that benefit of the doubt. Like
yeah,
but I believe every organization in the game at the high levels, like the control areas, they do in RMT. There's not a single one that will not do, and maybe they don't know, but they are members on the guild making massive profit and trying to cash out on that. That's for sure.
yeah. No, 100%. I mean,
Like,
you can see all the evidence clear as day if you just use your fucking brain. That's what I'll leave
yeah,
it at
well,
that.
like what you say makes sense. Like, if there is a stack of knives being sold in there, like you probably get an idea where that come from. Like, oh, stuff like that. Like you don't need to be a sort of expert on sort of like just use common sense.
Yeah, exactly. 100% common sense, man. I
But
mean,
also this at the same time, like big organizations should know. I feel like they have been waging war against other entities on behalf of RMT. You
Mhm.
know, like being the RMT Justice Warrior. But that I feel like that's very, very hypocritical because, like I say, they they sort of like, they sort of doing the same thing.
Well, it's because they're getting rid of competition, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I think that's
yeah,
exactly what's going on. So I think the big recent server war was to get rid of competition. I don't, and I think there's obviously other ulterior motives around that. But the whole war on RMT obviously is a bunch of bullshit. If you really just take a moment just to think and realize like how it all looks and piece it together for yourself, it all
yeah.
adds up to one thing, and it's just a war on getting rid of the competition. And that's my personal opinion, at least.
Yeah, yeah, and look, that's what it is. So they should they should just say it like that, It's like because people can see that bullshit. But it's nothing wrong with it. Like it just happened on any game. Like when you play in Albion, like the big guilds wanna control the Black Zone and control the Tier A map, so they can get the monopoly of the Tier A area. So they wanna get the monopoly of the mammoth respawns, and it is what it is. But don't come and say that you the good guys and you fight declaring war on these guys for RMT purposes. You and everyone know the truth.
Yeah, 100%. There is no real good guys when with these specific guilds because let's look at the things that they're doing in the game, right? Even if they are fighting the war on RMT, what are they really doing other than fighting this war, right? You got them. You got people killing the game in various aspects that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
seem to be ignoring. That's why I think our community, unfortunately, isn't the brightest community because it seems like they take a lot of things said at face value and
Now
then
there's a
just
lot of propaganda. There's a lot of
oh yeah,
propaganda, like in every aspect of like like online games are pretty similar to real life. Like it is the same. Like there's
mm-hmm.
propaganda wars being waged in Europe. There's propaganda wars during COVID. There was propaganda wars during all aspects of our lives, and also in the game propaganda. Look, when I came, my background on gaming is EVE Online. You know, and if you know anything about EVE Online, is that propaganda is very important when they wage war against each other. And these are big wars. These are like no 100 versus 100. We're talking about 25,000 versus 10,000 and big coalitions. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
and 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 the war, and that's where I learned all the propaganda. Where I learned it from EVE Online, and anyone that play EVE Online, they can say, he's right. Like if you think we have propaganda war here in Immortal, you should see what the propaganda wars and we're waving in EVE Online. That was a whole nother level, bro.
I can only imagine because that's on a much higher scale of player base too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, 100%. Man, I'm just gonna have to point out here real quick. If you're gonna say that it's bullshit, please just tell me why you think it's bullshit. Because I'm just pointing out like common sense things. Like you can piece things together. Only reason I brought it up recently is I actually received DMs with photos attached to it of conversations with people saying they were Odin Seed and admitting those things. And I got links to a inventory of someone with said items. So
Hmm.
it's just if you're gonna say it's bullshit, just back it up. I'm super down to have a conversation about it. I already reached out saying like,
Oh, are you asking me or you
oh
asking
no
someone?
no, I'm just point. I misread something that someone said actually.
Oh,
Totally my fault. Um, No, if in the Twitch chat someone said that there's no good guys and the RMT propaganda was bullshit, but the server war had nothing to do with getting rid of competition as you portray it, and you're entitled to your opinion, but you are talking about stuff you are clueless about.
look, the thing when it comes to proof and all stuff, like if you have screenshots like that, like I'm not saying your screenshots are fake. They could be true,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be hard for me to believe that the Odyssey leadership would be so dumb to be involved in these activities. I want to believe that if there's people doing RNT on seed, there will be people that are just doing it without the approval of the leadership.
Right.
Um,
But the
but
one
then
part that gets to me though is like, where are they getting this? Like, okay, they're obviously getting it from the dungeon, but shouldn't the leadership be figuring out who gets it? Does that make sense? Like, shouldn't they be keeping track of all of the scrolls?
yeah, of course, brother, of course. But at the same time, like for example, uh, it's hard to control. Like for example, now let's say for example the audience seat control the Minotaur dungeon, right?
Right. Right.
You will have to have a very sort of tidy process to sort of have the accountability of like who killed the Minotaur at one time and who was present and where that book went every single time it get killed. I don't know what the response is of the boss, but you know what the response is on that boss? Response time
What was that?
for the Mino dungeon boss. You know
Oh,
what the response
well,
time is?
no, but I believe it was like as soon as we killed it, they were already lining up in front of the dungeon.
Yeah, yeah. So they just it's hard for the leadership to control like because that's the other thing. Sometimes like leadership will know as well, and they will look the other side. That could also be happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
But it's hard to like. I'm sure, like I said to you earlier, I'm sure there are people in Carnimata, people in Koto, people in ODC doing RMT. Like because it happened on any organization, and wherever organizations say it doesn't happen, it's because they probably don't have access to closing down resources that can make them very rich in the game. You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right. No, I get that 100%. And that's one of the things, like, I actually said it last week. I wanted to actually have a conversation with someone from the leadership of Odin. I did talk to Aza a couple of weeks ago about having a conversation, but he did say that he was going to be probably toxic and probably wouldn't be a great fit. So, obviously, that was out of the picture. But I never got a response from anybody else from Odin. They were just claiming bullshit, 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 but no, like, actual conversation to show like on their end like how it could be bullshit. It was just words being thrown. Like as much I would love to hear like, oh yeah, we're one of the largest guilds in the server that control 3 strongholds by ourselves. I would love them to say and show me or discuss why they would not be involved with it, and give sufficient reasoning to the, in my opinion, obvious disclaimers that they're doing, in my opinion, doing RMT, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I would love to play a game that there's no RMT and no exploiting. It's not going to happen. There's always going to be those people that are going to be
Have
looking for those
you
things.
have you tried to raise these issues with the GMs?
So I do not bother talking to GMs personally because I feel like they just don't know what they're doing sometimes. I think a majority of our player base feels the same, honestly. There's even the small things they just don't know how to deal with. I feel like there's things with, just simple, bugs that do occur due to coding, and you explain it. They say, "Oh, it's a known issue, but you're out of luck." Like what the fuck? So I give up on GMs. I try talking to LGM, and yeah, you never get anything really accomplished.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel the same way. I mean, I feel like I can't even talk to them because I'm not even part of the Discord. So I guess the only way would be to send a ticket, and then I feel a lot of time. I don't know. I wouldn't. I would think that it's just a huge waste of time, to be honest, to go through the normal process. That's why, I'd rather stay away from GM's interaction.
Right, 100%.
Uh, I don't know what's going on, but sometimes even I feel like the GMs get involved too much in the game, and yeah, they do a lot of weird shit. Like, I got this little village next to Kave Camp, and they were moving this stronghold around the map. Like it was located next to the the horse respawn, and then they move it like up the mountain. I don't know what the reasons are for them to move these tier 3 strongholds around from the Gil Olgar. So shit like that. I didn't know they were possible, but I saw it by myself. Like one day there was no stronghold there, and the next day there's a tier 3 stronghold there in front of on that area.
It's
And
just amazing,
apparently,
right?
yeah. So apparently shit like that is happening around the game, and I feel like shouldn't happen. I don't know what was the reason for them to move that stronghold, but they are shit that the GMs get involved, and I think they get make things worse. You know?
Right, and I don't think the GMs truly know lots of things in the game. I think I have a feeling that the GMs that we have in our game don't know the game. I don't think they know. I think they're given a list of issues and how to deal with them, but I don't think they actually know the game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think they just don't realize that that things they sometimes do have massive consequences in the game, and I feel like another big thing and why we having all these issues is because there is no ban for association in Mortal Online 2. Like this happened, and this was something I always advocate for,
Mm-hmm.
is that they need to incorporate ban for association because there's currently no incentive for people in Odin Guild to report people breaking the rules, and the same applies for other big serves. You know, there's no incentive for people in Kodo to report people in Kodo breaking the rules, or
Right.
people in Kanimata breaking the rules, because there is no ban for association, and that's very rare because in Evil 9 there was ban for association where whole guilds used to get banned, or even on Rust that is banned for association. Most games that is banned for association, because that create an incentive for people to do the right thing. You know, when they see people doing the wrong thing in their own organizations. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. 100%. So, like for example, a great example, and you actually bring up something that I do want to touch on. There was a officer in Odense by the name of Marlin. This specific character had, God, at least from what I saw, 5 houses under his name. And I'm not talking just houses, like I'm talking about strongholds and houses. He had a mixture of those, right? All under his name. He figured out some type of exploit to be able to get those all under his name, so that he would have ownership of all of them. Does that you follow me so far?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
follow you. Yeah.
yeah. So he actually got banned, and Barados actually got a warning from the GMs. So they did do a guilty by association thing. So Marlin actually did get a ban. Yeah, it took a while, but
Yep.
he did get a ban, and
Did he got unbanned or he's still banned today?
he's still banned at this moment, according to.
Because something that I don't understand, people get permaban and then they get unbanned, and it happened a lot with people that use the bug exploit for many
Yeah,
mods.
yeah, the Maganin.
Yeah, a lot of these guys got unbanned, and then I was like, this was such a breaking exploit,
Right.
and it would seem that that's where a permaban, but a lot of these people end up getting unbanned, which I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think that we will be probably seeing Marlin come back to the game because, I mean, Wicked got unbanned recently. Wicked was banned for exploit and cheating on one of his other characters. And the only reason why I think he did get unbanned was due to the fact that there was not enough evidence or something along those lines.
Well, the other thing that is happening that I have witnessed, and I don't want to mention names, but I have experienced myself in GK, is that people know exactly where you are, like constantly. You know, even without you being at war with them and raising the scouts alarm,
Yeah.
they just know where you are.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, and
yeah, yeah.
apparently I was told that there are some radar hacks that are Linux based and can be run, where you can basically know people that is around you, where the locations are, and sort of have like a sort of a ESP sort of thing.
Yeah, 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 no, for sure. I mean, we know for a fact, everyone in the server knows that Tiang Ming definitely does that. 100%.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to mention names, but I just noticed very weird circumstances where I would just keep getting caught by the same guy, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like you'll be hiding somewhere, and then they know exactly where they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. But
Well,
ESP is really hard to truly expose
yep.
because this,
I just
yeah,
I was made aware of that recently. I didn't know that was a thing, and then she just started making sense after, you
yeah.
know.
I mean, you have the bow glitch, or not glitch, the bow hack where you can shoot it like a machine gun. You have the teleportation. You have no clipping. You got ESP. That there's so much bullshit out there. And I know that
Yeah.
there's definitely hacks for this game because I mean I've personally seen teleportation happen, but it's also hard to prove at the same time.
Mm, yeah. Well, I noticed like in some of the dungeons in GK where you get the books, there was a lot of guys teleporting around, looting the barrels and getting out. That was definitely a thing I have witnessed,
Right.
and a lot of people have witnessed. And people that have been on these dungeons, they can tell you that they are actually people hacking, going around the map, looting barrels or teleporting around. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Like there's definitely people that cheat on this game to RMT as well. I mean,
Yeah,
like for example, we were discussing it. Well, not you and me, but I was discussing it with somebody else. And you got to think about like the teleportation with the bow hack. They could just sit on top of the minnow king and just
yeah.
pelt him down with a bow, and then
Yeah, well,
teleport out.
that's how they kill a lot of time the minor early game. You know, remember when there was multiple dungeons and then you could multiple instances and then you could go to the other servers and kill it there as well. So there was massive amount of production early
Right,
game. You know,
right, right.
by hackers. Yeah,
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not something that can be easily gotten rid of. It's that's a
yeah,
game thing, and I mean, you can't even rely on anti-hack. You have to be making your own supplements towards anti-cheat as well. Because I mean, let's be real, easy anti-hack that Mortal and Star Vault uses is such a shitty anti-cheat system. It helps with the dog shit cheats, but it doesn't help with the custom-made, more uniquely coded cheats, right? Injections.
yeah,
So I think that's a problem with a lot of game studios is they don't realize that. They think they could just buy the one all solution and then say, okay, that's it. But in reality, you need to be making extra layers of security for your game in order to avoid
yeah,
a lot of those things. I mean, look at Vanguard, right? By the creators of Valorant and League of Legends. Um, from I remember because I'm a huge Tarkov player. Um, if you, there was a huge thing that if you had hacks for Tarkov, you could not have Valorant installed in your computer because the Vanguard anti cheat would not allow you to play. That's how good the Valorant anti hack is. Like they developed it themselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, Mortal is a small studio. You know,
Right,
like
right, right, right. 100%.
yeah,
That's the other part you got to
yeah,
think about too. Right.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's why
yeah.
like all these great games, but they don't have the funds to also to create or the
Yeah,
time.
look, I play Rust a lot. I got 6,000 hours on Rust, and there's a lot of people hacking there constantly, and it's a real shame because it's such a great game, and this sort of people playing dirty sort of ruin it for everyone, and that's the thing that happened for Mortal. You know, it's like it's just they such a good games, but these sort of hacks are really breaking the game. You know,
Right.
big time.
I actually heard something that in every large Zerg, there's at least 5 cheaters. How true do you think that is?
Again, the same thing with RMT, bro. I'm sure in big organizations there are people hacking, people doing RMT. It's like like they own leadership shouldn't be saying no, that doesn't happen here because that's impossible. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And it's so, like, I'm not going to put blame on them. I think that it's super hard to figure out if someone is cheating in such a large organization because you have so many people to take care of, right? And it's not like
But
you're.
then again, they sometimes no, sometimes they're aware of, but because of the lack of incentive to report people like this, because there's no ban for association, people overlook. You know, and I don't know if you know a guy called Foki, I think was his name.
Okay.
When Yeah, something like that. I was he was from the guild Paya. When I joined for a few weeks Kilox at Dreadlord,
Right.
and there was talks in Discord about using the elevator and the bug exploit. Like there was, for example, I was at Tefrakeira, but I overhear this conversation on Discord. Like I think it was Nightfall coming down,
Hmm.
and they were giving the stuff to this guy so he can bag it, so they didn't lose the books
That's
or they lose.
crazy. I actually did hear about that. I actually
And
heard.
that was on Discord, and this
Yeah.
was a lot of the Paya guys, and there was guys from Drellor there, on also the call, and I was on the call myself,
Right.
and I was like, this is not good. I left Drellor shoot soon after because I didn't wanna
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
wet. So I'm sure there are talks on Discord, but because of the lack of incentive to report any of these people, it's just, you know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
Like for example, when I was in ES, there was people exploiting as well. The trolls, glitching the trolls, glitching the Nitre Queen. Even more, the Nitre Queen, the exploit was told by some guys in Talos Confederation than share that. So everyone was doing it. At the end of the day, Drellor was doing it, Carnimata was doing it, ES was doing it, Talos Confederation. Basically, everyone in GK knew about the glitch, and they were all doing it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
no
Right.
ever got banned. And I'm sure there's guys in ES with like 20 to 30, 40 stacks of dense creepy MK still. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
And that's the problem. There's no there was so many game breaking bugs early game than
Yeah.
should have
But hey,
been a wipe.
the game's definitely improved though a lot since I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they should have done a wipe.
Yeah. 100%.
You know.
Yeah. What do you think would stop Starvault from doing a wipe at this point?
I don't know. I think they probably don't want to do it because they probably feel like they will lose most of the player bases. But that's a very dumb idea because like I say, I got 6,000 hours on Rust, and wipes is what keep the game alive.
Right.
The reason that there's gonna be a monthly wipe. Imagine if this game, bro, if this game had like a yearly wipe or 6-month wipe, it would be so much fun. It would be
Right.
so much fun. I don't think it would be a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's something
And,
that needs to be
and
talked
look,
about.
it can be an inventory wipe. It doesn't have to be the clay, the characters, the house. It could be just the banks, the chests, everything you own.
Right. Yeah.
The could be like that.
No, I think that would be a great idea. I definitely think that an inventory wipe would be a good solution, not necessarily a claylet wipe.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think that it would be great for the economy of the game. And you're talking to someone who's fairly wealthy in the game, right? I
Well, this is a full loot game.
right,
So if there's no issues using resources, like it's just very boring. Because you're never gonna run out of materials
yeah,
to you know.
yeah. I talked to Demo Man actually about this, and Henrik was actually on the stream talking back to us about it too. I still totally agree. There should be a wipe of some sort, economy wipe, regardless. Just because there was so much shit in this game regarding duplication and exploiting, and the game's in such a better spot than it was back then that I definitely think it's worthwhile looking into. Especially because we have so many more new players coming into our game too, even before the marketing plan that Henrik has, set up.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think there's definitely need to be a inventory wipe 100%. I think them not doing it is actually what is pushing people away from the game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that would
Uh,
solve a lot of the RMT issues. Um, Not saying it's going to entirely wipe out RMT, but RMT won't really be a thing for quite some time unless they figure out some new exploit, which I hopefully that's not the case, right? You would actually have to make money on your own way and learn the game for those people that are buying shit
yeah.
that they shouldn't be buying.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, bro. Exactly.
Right. So I mean, let's back on kind of on topic. On one of the things I wanted to talk about more. How do you see the game progressing at like and when I say progressing, not like the updates and things like that. I'm talking about like the player base, the Zergs, the guilds. How do you see the game progressing in that aspect in the next following? I don't know. Let's just say a year.
I'm not sure, bro. Like I feel like because I was away from Mortal for a while, I was playing all the games. Mortal is not a bad game. There are just little things that I think are pushing people away. I think the recent changes of adding a new character and also the changes with siege mechanics I think are really good. I think that's a big improvement, especially I think that was something that should have been on the game since the beginning, but for some reason took very long, and I wish it didn't took that long, you know.
Right.
But there are positive things that have been happening in the since the last update, particularly that I have witnessed, and hopefully they can keep up doing these improvements, and then if they, I think if they fix these little things that are pushing people away, the population can come back for sure. It's not a bad game.
So actually, when I just put that on there real quick, Bullseye actually made a very nice a good comment here. Most of the people that would be left after the wipe are the people doing RMT, since most of the people farming would quit. Why farm if they just delete your progress? That is a very good point. Um, but you also have to think, and this is his personal opinion, that the RMTers would also have to rebuild their stocks, right? And not only that is a lot of the duplicated shit that did occur in this game when it originally was released wouldn't be no longer an issue, if you follow what I'm saying. We wouldn't have to worry about the shit ton of duplicated gold. We wouldn't have to worry about the shit ton of duplicated scrolls. You know, Chronite, Ogmium, you name it. It's been duplicated. People do have it. And there's legacy trinkets as well. I do want to get that out there. Legacy trinkets with 34 plus attributes on them. You have legacy gear with stupid stats on them. You know, there's a lot of things that people just don't realize are
Yeah,
still
yeah,
in the game,
yeah.
and the wipe would release all that bullshit and put everybody on a
Exactly.
more even playing field.
Yeah. No, actually, at this stage, I think there's very little people left that would side with no wipe is needed. I think the majority of the people understand that there needs to be some sort of reset in the economy and in the sort of deal with these issues, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, that's just my point of view, and I'm happy that you're on the same page, Carney. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm really hoping, just my personal thing. I'm hoping that there are some real changes. That's why I asked you that question with the player base. I'm hoping that a lot of people not only open their eyes, but people are actually, there's not only just the Zerg on Zerg fight, but there's more, let's just say, division, more content, because there's too many of these large groups or a coalition of groups that have their own little peace times, right? Their own little treaties of peace, and there's less fighting going on. For example, a coalition, they literally run that whole area with the various guilds, right? You can literally probably say Cathara has 4 strongholds under his belt, right? Odinseed literally has 3 strongholds on their belt, and they've absorbed most of the guilds in that area that are PvE driven players, like Salt Pack, for example, Bridge 4. Those are 2 guilds that have literally merged in the Odinseed, and in my personal opinion, are mainly PvE guilds. All right, they're not much of PvP players. Um, do you have any comments or what are your thoughts on that?
About the big shares sort of absorbing the smaller PvE guilds.
You're right. Like, do you think that it should be something that's done? Do you think that they should just be left to fend for themselves? Like, what is the real accomplishing thing there? Is like, because you got to keep in mind a lot of these guilds are join us or die, right? That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's how kind of they run. They did it to companions. I know they've done it to other guilds.
yeah,
Join or die.
yeah. I think this is sort of just weak entities than I mean they're strong entities but they're weak mentally, then they have to do this type of tactics because of fear of competition, and I feel like that's sort of what in a way is killing the game. Is more than exploit are the big search just sort of bullying everyone out of the areas instead of having good fights than what it used to happen before when siege happened. Like before, because remember before there wasn't any siege and everyone was competing for Tefra, everyone was competing for the Raisa dungeon, everyone was competing for the Mino dungeon, and it was fun.
Yeah, it
But
was friendly
now it's
PvP.
like, yeah, but I feel like these organizations by taking the competition out of the area is like, yeah, they managing to secure these areas, and have their members sort of be more relaxed and maximize the resources they get from it with very little risk. But at the same time, they killing they player versus fan, and that's a double-edged sword because like, again, like I said to you, I feel like most more important than resources are to keep your player base healthy. And when you are allied with everyone, when there is no access to PvP and all you do is PvE, that's a double-edged sword in a way that you will get players that are just gonna get tired of farming all the time, and they will just quit,
Yeah, and
stop playing.
like you got to think about it too is what are you gonna do with all that farm, right?
Yeah,
Like congratulations, you farmed a shit ton. Like okay, what are you gonna do with it?
yeah, yeah. You need to. It's like there needs to be a balance, and this needs to be come from the you know the leaders of the BQs, But
Yeah,
at the same time, they are breaking the balance, and they basically you start seeing that they're gonna lose more and more players.
yep, 100%. I think that it's all player like so. We literally play a sandbox, right? Literally, definition is you can do whatever the fuck you want when you want, right?
Yeah,
It's a player-driven game. All the content is
yeah,
player-driven.
yeah.
The Zergs are killing that content,
Exactly, and
right?
that's like I say, that's gonna bite them back.
Yeah, because at the end of it, when they do total domination, whatever, right? What are they gonna do after?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah,
Especially if it's like what we spoke earlier, where they are all very comfortable on their areas and they don't step on each other areas, and there's no big wars between them, and there's like an sort of an agreement to sort of share the map between them. It's pretty boring.
oh yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like so
yeah,
I don't know, man. I just like I've said it so many times. And I feel like a broken record. I just hope that like some of these like guilds. Oh my god, my dog, bro. I should never have brought her in here. Okay. Um, just wish these guilds would just come to their senses and realize they need to wage war on each other. Like, what's the best content? If they enjoy, okay, let me rephrase that. They enjoyed the server war so much. What is stopping them from reenacting the server war with each other?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
The server war, right? They enjoyed it. Apparently, according to a lot of these guilds and these Zergs, they enjoyed
Yeah.
the server war, right? 300 on 300. What's
Hmm.
stopping them from reenacting that with each other? If it was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
enjoyable, you love the content, you're not going to see that content again. I mean, Nightmare literally quit TC. Um, you know, Mythic quit TC. Uh, man, like a fuck ton of guilds have quit TC, right?
mm,
They gave up on TC. They think it's a stupid, um, game loop,
yeah,
and I get it. I totally understand. And the reason also because of that is because of the way these guilds play that game loop, right? But obviously, the winners of that enjoyed it, right? Fair enough, and they deserve that
yeah,
enjoyment. But
yeah,
why not? If they like it so much, instead of going for 20-man, 10-man, 5-man guilds, right? Why not wage war on each other? Not only would we see a lot more change in hands for keeps, but I feel like not only are the smaller guilds going to be able to accumulate more power and maybe be more of a challenge for the Zergs,
Yeah.
but we're going to see a lot more large scale and small scale fights, right? Just in the overall
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I think that people need to wake up and realize there needs to be some change from the player base, and I think that the only way we can do that is by the player base uniting, or some sort of, I'm not going to say revolution or something like that, just a wake up call. You know, I mean, there was ACT back in the day, right? Do you remember that ACT?
Oh, no, no. I was mostly at GK, and I didn't really get out of there at all. Like Defra is all I knew basically. I didn't knew much what was going on around.
Okay, so there was a anti-Zerg coalition that was basically created to fight
Yeah.
now the current coalition, which is Katara's Horde, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I don't understand why that's not being redone. But then you got to keep in mind, Barados was in the ACT against Coalition during that
Oh
period
yeah,
of time.
yeah. I remember that. I never
Yes.
really got involved into that, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's absolutely mind blowing that the quote unquote savior of the game is now running the probably second strongest Zerg in the game. And the reason I say second is because I still, in my opinion, think that Rat Alliance is probably the strongest, just because they control basically all the end game content in the game.
Yeah, but you know the problem I think with Red Alliance is that you can obviously never count them out, but I feel like a little bit what we spoke about, like them kicking out all the competition of GK, it have sort of backfire a little bit, because I feel like the members probably are not having much PvP at all in GK area, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally I started playing a video at the beginning of the stream. Tribe, I don't know why, but they ventured out of their jungle to GK, and for some reason thought it was a great idea to play it out of GK, and they got immediately folded because knowing Rat Alliance zerged the fuck out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they gone now. They're not in GK anymore.
I don't know if they're gone. I don't know. I don't care. I thought it was
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. Like they thought they had a chance of living out of GK.
Yeah.
They learned the hard way that they can't.
Yeah. Well, the thing with GK area is that, like I said to you, the way the Red Alliance way war is very grindy, and like that's what I believe why no either Koto or DC don't wanna go to that area, because they will know that will take a heavy load on the player base, you know,
Right. Right.
go up there. So it's, yeah, I feel like any group that go to GK, they better have a bunch of people that can handle it, you know. Otherwise, just don't even go.
Right. Don't even bother. I mean, I always recommend people to take a look at it once and then, get murked by a large group and then kind of see how it is up there. Because they run it now ever since Nightmare's gone. They run the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is they own that area now. I think, and I believe Nightfall is still standing against them at the Rise Dungeon, and they sort of keep them in check there. But basically, everyone else is gone. including
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. Nightfall still controls GK Riser, in my personal opinion. And I think Carney knows that. They don't typically go there. Though I do remember a group of Debars was trying to go into Riser GK, and Carney zerged the fuck out of them. And then
Yeah.
there was a video created. I'm not going to really comment on that, but that was kind of funny. But anyways, what was I saying? I lost train of thought. Yeah, so Carney, Red Alliance, definitely the number one Zerg in terms of power and numbers and skill of players. OS is probably going to be rated second on that list. So I would love to see those two groups if they have. They claim to be the stronger groups, right? Like I seen Berdos and a lot of their members talking about how Odin's Seed has never been any stronger. It's probably the strongest ever. Why aren't they duking it out? Why are they not proving the ego? Why is it all just chitter chatter? I think Karni, though, in my opinion, has shown they don't care because they are taking the fight to Odin Seed, clearing them out of locations they don't want them in. I think Red Alliance has proved that they don't give a fuck, and they want to, I think, insert their dominance on Odin Seed. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just from what I've seen. Maybe it's all propaganda. It's so hard to understand. And in my personal opinion, Odin Seed is a little yip yap, no bite. You know what I'm saying? They're all bark.
I strongly believe Odyssey doesn't have intentions to go to GK. I could be wrong, but it doesn't feel like, it doesn't look like they have any intention to go there. They probably talk like a lot
Right.
that they could do, but I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Particularly.
And I'm not even going to mention Coalition. They're literally all jokers, in my opinion. And I mean, the skill level of their players are just so low compared to the North guilds, right? The Northern guild skill level compared to Medulla guilds is just, it's a ridiculous difference.
Are you talking about the Defiance of Alliances? That's the coalition, or that's a different thing?
Coalition is Cathara's thing with old guard,
yeah.
Slav, smoking snakes,
Okay.
ESX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smoking
Yeah.
snakes. Yeah, they're the coalition. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so I think the skill level is a lot different than what those you'd find in the north.
So who else is on the seed group other than UDL?
So Artisans is allied with
Yeah.
Odin Seed.
Yeah.
Odin Seed has mainly just absorbed a lot of the guilds, though. Dreadlords is still keeping their anonymity somewhat. But
is the Black Hand as well part of the alliance?
I don't know what Black Hand is directly, but I do believe that there is some sort of agreement there with Black Hand and Odin Seed.
Yeah.
Odin Seed has a lot of interesting relationships. I know they have relationships with Tribe. We said Artisans, we said Black Hand, we said Dreadlords, or Undead Lords, I don't even fucking know. And then a lot of the other guilds, though, they just merged into Odin Seed. You know, like Saltpack, Bridge 4, various smaller guilds that are basically non-factors because I don't even know their names. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically Odin Seed, right? They kind of run the show with like their group right there. Those kind of guilds.
No, but these guys you mentioned, the in chat, the Pergide, Abaddon, Quadragan, I don't think they are with Odin Seed, right? I mean, Quadragans and Pergide, I think they fight Odin Seed. I have seen it myself.
During the server war, Pergite and Quadracons were assisting Odin Seed.
Yeah.
Along with Abaddon. Because they all live in that area, right? They all live under the Odin Seed circle. So that could possibly be something. That could be true. I wouldn't put it past them. It's a very interesting alliance, as I said. I don't know exactly the details of who is still with Odin Seed. I know this is crazy, but I do know that Karma PD was actually working with Odin Seed as well, capping towers for Odin Seed. But they weren't under the Odin Seed name. It was to just take away the towers from whoever was the siege target at that point. So it's an interesting one. Karni, their alliance is really straightforward. There hasn't really been any new additions from what I've seen. They keep it pretty tight knit, in my opinion. And they seem to have pretty good coordination between their Zergs. But again, we're kind of going back to the thing. They need to do content between each other. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But then again, Karni is at least taking the step to be the aggressors against Odin Seed. is only just to see what is ONC going to do about it. Because at this point in time, I'm kind of seeing that ONC is a bunch of fucking pansy pussies taking it like little girls, and I'm just going to say that because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it how I see it. And they just, like I said, they're targeting, instead of targeting the group that's actually pressuring them and aggressing, they want to put their focus on other places, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're telling me that one of the tier 3 strongholds close to the dungeon got siege and what got actually destroyed by Carnimata?
Yep, destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. They fucking
Damn.
demoed it, and Odin came out with their bangers and
Yeah.
got dropped. Like, absolutely wiped by Wolfsight Carney
When this happened recently?
Ah, shit. When did this happen? It was on Wolfsight's video.
Ah.
When did that happen?
Yeah. So yeah, they definitely, the GK is still controlling the server at the moment. Then maybe Koto and the coalition and Odin Seed work together, they might stand a chance. But other than that,
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we don't know what has happened since then, but there was a
Yeah.
video created showing the destruction of Undead Lord stronghold, and Odin Seed was fighting to help Undead Lord, but got wiped by Red Alliance.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that sort of tells you like obviously Carnimata looking pretty strong at GK, and the GK is looking pretty strong there.
Yeah, exactly. And Odin Seed, like I said, has been a lot of bark and no bite. And like, when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, go ahead and zerg the 20-man guilds and prove yourself. It's like, prove yourself against a worthy opponent, but you haven't because, in my opinion, you're afraid. You're afraid you're going to lose it all. You're too comfortable, and it's just, like I said, you wear your Ogmium, you wear your Chronite, and you think you're invincible. But at the end of the day, you will never pick a fight with Carney because Carney will win.
Yeah, well, I think in a way what they're doing is basically not very smart because they are pushing away the people that could help them to win this war in a way, by picking unnecessary wars and bullying people out of the game than basically could eventually, if there was an understanding between the parts, help them to defeat the big foe,
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, brother, can you check the Discord? I send you a message. Let me know when you read it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But yeah, bro, I think that's definitely something that it need to be some action sort of taking place by
there needs to be some sort of movement in the server.
Yeah.
People, I think, are starting to realize that is the case. That's the situation we are in right now as players. I think people are waking up. I think people are, realizing what type of fuckery we're in. But I guess, like I've said before, we just gotta wait and see what happens. It's all talk, all banter, but I don't see any biting. I don't see anyone actually doing anything about it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Carney, I have to run, so we're gonna cut it there. I definitely want to talk some more with you in the future. I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people. I think that you should show people that there is a lot that we can do outside of the game, in the game. You're a guy who defeated obesity. You're a guy who's showing dedication to your current cause. I respect the fuck out of you, man. You are a great individual. I love your content. Keep it up.
I appreciate it, brother. Like I say, I'm just trying to send a positive message. Like I know I talk a lot of shit. Like
total domination, brother.
Yeah,
total domination.
I actually got declared siege, and I'm gonna go up a little bit to explain this. I got siege just now by a group in Cave Camp because I was trolling. I was talking a lot of shit in the unofficial Discord, and they used this as a sort of a way to sort of teach me a lesson. But at the same time, I talk a lot of shit, but I also try to send a message. You know what I mean? There is a message to be here, and even after all this trolling I did that caused me to get siege, I really think that the issues that I was raising, particularly, are necessary. So like I think people need to understand the way I operate. It's a lot of shit, trash talk, and a lot of shit talking, but there is also a good message behind. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think there is a very good message being there. I think you're
Yeah,
trying to wake
yeah,
people up to the truth. I think
yeah.
you need to continue to fight the fight, brother.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you too, man.
Uh, yeah, thanks for inviting me. It was great to talk to you as well here,
We'll
the
talk more.
companion.
I'll look forward to it,
Yeah.
brother.
All right. Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
You too. Good night.
Yeah, good
All
night.
right. Thank you guys. RunKarni, Twitch. You can catch him. He does YouTube as well. I'll be linking everything in the description. Make sure to like and follow. Appreciate y'all. Have a great night.
Said what's up, bitch, what's at it? Bitch, try to suck on my dick, on my tip, she's funny, right click the grip on my grip on my hollow point tip, your lip, because if it's so roll my way, bitch, move it, fuck it up, I got up with too many bangs, pockets flooded up, but what I got in my veins, nigga stomach, fuck, they keep a strap up on my waist, it got a hollow tuck, like damn,